What's the deal, my peoples? Hope you had a happy, fake corporate New Year, because it wasn't the New Year's. You should go back to my video about the real New Year's. I mean, it should be common sense. You don't celebrate the New Year in the middle of winter, in the middle of the end of a cycle. Alright? The real New Year's is the spring solstice. For the true definition of what a year is. A year is a solar cycle. But that's besides the point. It's 2013, alright, in the corporate calendar, corporate Gregorian Vatican calendar, 2013. And before I go into the significance behind this year, let's review exactly what went down on December 21st, 2012. This epic date. Nothing. Nothing went down. Nothing crazy went down on December 21st. No apocalypse, no zombies running through the streets, no crazy deep impact tidal wave. Jesus Christ didn't come back. There wasn't a crazy consciousness shift that made us live heaven on earth. Okay, for all you new age fucks, none of this happened. Alright? Your problems are still here. Your karma is still here. We are still here. Okay, on a positive tip too, we're still here. Oh shit. So, this is just another example of how they hype us up, build up energy, and who's they? The people that control the calendar, the people that rewrote our history, the elite, the people in the Vatican, the people controlling your government officials. They, alright? This shit is real, okay? You don't believe in Illuminati? Don't call it Illuminati, alright? Call it the elite. Whatever you want to call it, this shit is real, okay? So, they build up all this energy, alright, for this one date, December 21st, 2012, which December 21st is actually the winter solstice. And they were prophesizing, on the History Channel, all this shit, that the world was gonna end, or on the New Age side that, there's gonna be this massive consciousness shift on that one day, and, everything would change. We'd enter the age of Aquarius and all this. While some of that is true, okay, there's a lot of crazy shit happening on the earth, and there's definitely shifts in consciousness, which happens gradually, just doesn't happen on one day. We fall into this trap because we keep projecting something's going to happen in the future for a dated event. Alright? This happened numerous times in our history with Y2K. They said the world was going to end in 1999. There was even things in the early 1900s. So you go back in history and they keep playing this game. Okay? Now, I hope we've learned that lesson. Alright, that every time they build us up and then nothing happens, or expectations fail, it really is going to force us to come back within ourselves and stop looking outside for something to happen. Alright, yes, there's massive shifts in consciousness, but it doesn't mean that your consciousness is going to shift like that unless you're open to it. And unless you initiate some kind of changes in your life. If you don't make changes, your experiences don't change. Alright? These are universal laws. So, going into now 2013, we're here. Now what? We are in the unknown. Well, to kind of shed light on, why they use certain numbers, why we're in a cycle of 12, and all of this deals with symbols. So 2013, the biggest symbol being 13. Now 13 is a very elusive, mysterious number. It's always been that way. And the reason why it's been that way is because it's a very powerful spiritual number. It's a prime number, which means it stands on its own. It's also one of the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence. Now, 13 has had the reputation of through superstition of being a negative number, almost like a number you want to stay away from. Now, nothing could be more far from the truth. 13 is a very powerful positive number. It is actually the number of Jesus Christ. How is 13 the number of Jesus Christ? Jesus is 13. He's the 13th principle. Because in the Last Supper, this is the best example, he has his 12 apostles around him. Okay, the 12, he is the 1 in the 12, which equals 13. He's the 13th principle. 12 deals with time. That's why all of our time deals with 12. 24-hour cycle, 12 day, 12 night, 12 months, 12 deals with time. 13 deals with transcending time. 13 deals with transcending illusion, transcending the physical realm. Okay? Now the physical realm isn't an illusion, but it's not all that there is. And to get down to the reality of things, you need to transcend to connect to everything. And that's what 13 represents. 13 is also a big number that they use within the Illuminati or Freemasons. This is why they don't put 13, there's not a 13th floor in any building. Okay, they avoid 13. They avoid that frequency, that vibration of 13. Now, it's not just because of superstition, all right? All the architects in this country don't share the same superstitions, all right? They're like, oh, you know what? We're not going to put a 13th floor because that's, whatever. No, it's because most of the architects are Freemasons. And this is a command not to put 13th in the buildings. Even if you look in Scotland, the Scottish airport doesn't have a 13th gate. You have 12A and then it goes to 12B. Alright? But there's no 11A, 11B. They purposefully avoid this vibration. And think about it. It's not because there's a legal thing that tells every person who's building, through the building code that you can't build 13th floor or you're going to get fined. No, there's a specific reason why they're doing that. Also, if you look at the back of the $1 bill, okay, in the seal of the eagle, where the eagle, is there and has the 13 olive branches and the 13 arrows, it also has a Star of David, okay, with 13 stars, okay. Now this is important because this shape, this geometric shape of the Star of David, which signifies the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, has 13 points. Now you couldn't make that shape with 14 points or 15 points. It has to be 13 points to make that shape. So 13 stars. Now people say, oh, it represents the 13 colonies, which is true. But there was a specific reason why they chose 13 colonies. Most of our fathers of the U.S. were Freemasons. This isn't conspiracy theory. They were Freemasons. You can look this up with historical documents. Now, 13 deals, like I said, transcending time. So how does this apply to us? Because now that we're past all this December 21st shit, and to give credence to December 21st, something remarkable did happen, okay? There was a cosmic event where we aligned with the central sun of the Milky Way, and this is powering up the sun, and the sun is getting hotter, okay, with solar flares. And this is transforming our DNA to reach our new level of experience. It's going to unlock psychic powers for those who build them. This is going to do so many different things. This is where the X-Men story originated from, because they knew back in the day that our genes were going to mutate. So, how does the 2013 thing apply to us? How does us going into the unknown apply to us? Well, really, since we're transcending time, okay, it means that anything is possible now because of our free will. Now, to kind of give credence to that, I'll give you two examples. If you study Terence McKenna's work, he came up with the time wave zero sequence using the I Ching algorithms. And he said past December 21st, through computer calculations, timelines would go crazy. Like, there was no way to predict certain things. Even David Wilcox, which is a big speaker of the pineal gland, and he has many books written, he speaks about how the psychics in the Montauk experiments, secret experiments that the government was doing, which is now declassified. Yes, the government was training psychics under the CIA, and that's actually what that movie with George Clooney is about, the whole thing with Men with Goats or something like that. It's a pretty funny movie, but it's all kind of loosely based in truth. So these psychics, when they try to go past 2012, they would hit a block. They couldn't really, it was fuzzy. And the reason why it was fuzzy, and the reason why time wave zero kind of breaks through after 2012, is because since we're closer to the central sun, and photonic energy and even subatomic particles are vibrating faster, things get tricky. Okay, so that means that because we have more of an influence now on our physical environment compared to the past, our free will kind of now dictates what happens. And free will is a variable. Who knows how people use their free will? Not to mention there's so many more awakened people with higher consciousness that affect these subatomic particles in a very profound way.